Got it. It's recording.
Fantastic. Hello, and welcome to the Cancer Journey Show. I'm Sherry Ann.
And I'm Carrie Lehman.
We're the co-founders of the Cancer Journey Institute, and we're so excited that you're here with us today. So we're going to start with what the show is about. What did you say, Carrie?
I said, welcome, welcome.
Okay. So here's what the show is about. Cancer Journey, especially our brand, which is what we call Cancer Journey Coaching, is kind of new in terms of cancer support. So even though we've been teaching and training this since 2012, and we've been in the coaching industry since the 90s, we are still frequently asked, what is Cancer Journey Coaching? And so we typically answer that with Cancer Journey Coaching is about working with an individual during their cancer journey, whether they're a patient, a caregiver, or survivor. And we work from an emotional, mental, and spiritual standpoint. So that's the inner landscape of the individual and the areas that, well, typically are not addressed by the medical team. So we focus on this area because we want to provide the whole healing kind of complete package so that we can help people grow from their experience. Okay, so that sounds all good. But what we found is that words are not enough, that we need to actually show you what Cancer Journey Coaching is. And so that's why we create the show. So you're going to get an experience today of Carrie coaching a cancer individual. And it's real life and it's real time, as you can probably see with our maneuvering around the technology. There's always fun in being the first, and this is the first Cancer Journey show. So for the next 3 months, we're going to be coaching a cancer patient survivor. And what you're going to see is that you're going to see them and their process, what's going on, and how the coaching actually helps the client stand in their powerful self. That's our goal. We want our clients to travel their journey in their most powerful self. So while one coaching session can make a difference, we believe that it takes about 3 months to really have support so that our clients can almost like fly on their own. Longer is always better, but we want to have some kind of sustained transformation and some sustained standing in their power place. So you're going to see us here every week, every Wednesday from 2 to 2:30, coaching live and working with somebody's process. So who are we? We are, let me just start with, let's just get some highlights. The Cancer Journey Institute is a training and coaching organization, and we help those on and beyond their cancer journey. Our program is the only cancer coach training program approved by the International Coaching Federation, otherwise known as the ICF. And that is what we consider our governing body for coaching and the coaching profession. So what we're saying with that is we've been vetted, we've been reviewed, and we've met what they call the gold standard of the ICF. And we're pretty proud of this. I'm Sherry Ann Tom, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Cancer Journey Institute. And the genesis of our company comes from my 5 times of being a cancer survivor, from Hodgkin's lymphoma and also a GIST, a gastrointestinal stromal tumor. And what I really wanted while I was going through my journeys is the stuff that we've created so that others could have this. Now, I met Carrie back when I first started training as a coach. She was one of my trainers, and she was also my very first coach that I've ever hired. She has been with me through most of my cancer journeys, and I find myself very honored and privileged to have her with me as I went through my cancer and today with what we do at the Cancer Journey Institute. Okay, Carrie, I'm handing it over to you.
Okay, this is the time when we're giving our cancer resumes. But thank you, Sherry Ann. I feel so honored too. And I started this with being a caregiver. And what that means is that people near and dear to me had cancer. So my husband had thyroid cancer, and then my mom passed of melanoma. So I thought, oh, great, that's it. That's my cancer resume. However, I had a big addition this past year. I was diagnosed with a rare form of breast cancer. And I'm happy to say that I am now a survivor.
Yay. I'm
Yay.
happy for you to say that too. So just a little bit more about us, we were just talking about our cancer resumes, our experience resume is that between Carrie and I, we have about 45 years of coaching experience. And also between us, we have about 40 years, actually over 40 years of coach training expertise. So we bring this to the Cancer Journey Institute, and we bring this to our clients, which of course we still do have practices, because that allows us to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on in the cancer world. And then we like to think of us as the go-to cancer coaches. So all that being said, we are so proud to have been written up in the Wall Street Journal and Cure Today, and we're just happy to do what we do. As you can tell, this is something that really is near and dear to our hearts. Okay, so let's get going with the show. So here's what you're going to see. First off, what you're going to see is real, not role playing and not pre-planned. We do have a client that is pre-planned, and that's Cathy. Cathy is a cancer patient and survivor of breast cancer. She was in remission for 6 years before it became flaring back into her life in 2018, and now it's metastatic. She has graciously agreed to share her process with you and be in the spotlight. So we're going to experience about 15 minutes, a mini coaching session with Cathy, and we're going to be using some of our proprietary tools and our skills to help Cathy get more clarity, insight, direction, and again, what we said before, to have her stand in her powerful self. So with that, let's begin the coaching, and let's go get Cathy. Thank you for passing this back over to me, Carrie.
Yes, I figured it out.
Oops, hold on, Cathy,
Here.
where are you?
She's here. We can hear her and see her name, but we can't see her.
Well, I'm trying to start my video.
Oh, okay.
You can't start your video because host has stopped it.
I know, it's like, why do what? Show. Oh dear. Panelists. Okay. I see the video icon and I'm trying to get around it and I can't.
Can you try it again, Cathy? Because now you're the co-host. You might be able to unmute yourself now.
Well, I'm unmuted, but
I mean, on camera. Do you see your little camera thing down?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it says I can't because the video. It says you can't start your video because the host has stopped it.
Okay.
And the host is trying to get to that particular icon.
You know what we should do is we'll just start the coaching, and if we bring her face on, great.
Fantastic.
So, hi, Cathy, dear.
Hello, Carrie.
It's not important that you know your coach's name. Don't worry. It still works.
I know your name.
So we're going to start with Pesh. So
Okay.
why don't you Pesh me? This is how we start all of our calls for you, those of you who've not seen coaching before.
So physically, physically, I would say I'm a 9 out of 10.
Mhm.
Emotionally, I'd say I'm about I've been waffling between a 7 and an 8 lately.
I'm going to give you 7.5 then.
Okay. And
Spiritually?
spiritually, I'd say about a 6. And hope, I would say about a 9.
Okay. And what's a word that describes you in this moment?
So in this moment, I'm feeling kind of fearful.
Mm-hmm. So you're fearful.
Mm-hmm.
And is that what you want to have coaching on?
Yeah, I think with everything that's going on with this coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like a little bit out of control, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that I've been really good about keeping an even keel, and all of a sudden I'm starting to like cry out of the blue.
Yeah.
And so I'm identifying that as fear. It might be something else, but that's where that's coming from.
And what's happening right now in this moment?
Right now in this moment, I'm sitting here talking with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel healthy and I feel strong,
Yeah.
but I have like this heaviness in my chest.
Yeah.
Um,
And is that what's happening in your chest?
what's happening in my chest is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So it's the
Yeah.
heaviness of emotion.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you put your hand on your chest,
Mm-hmm.
also kind of it's your heart area too.
Yes.
And just take a breath. Is there an emotion there? Or what do you experience when you take a breath?
It's scared and a little sad, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly it's scared.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it doesn't feel rational to me.
Right. Emotions often are not because they're not linear.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it's truly an emotion, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about that. Like it doesn't feel rational. Like there's no reason, there's no story behind it. It just is there.
Well, I feel safe. I mean, I'm doing everything I can to be healthy. I think, this is beyond the cancer. This is the energy that is around all of us. I think all of us are having a little bit of it right now.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like an added layer to already what I've been dealing with.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So so what is if you just could let your emotion make a sound, what sound would it make?
It would just be like um, a guttural exhalation, like
Yeah. Yeah. I can feel you, Cathy, kind of, and tell me if this is right or wrong, but I can feel you like I could I could go, like you could say this to yourself, I could really let this fear run right now, but I'm holding it, I'm holding it back.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I think, it's coming out in tears
Yeah.
because I can't hold it in. I can't control it.
Right.
Yeah.
And is there a story? I don't want to introduce the story, but just curious, is there a story that's running with this fear?
Um, the story is, let's see, what would the story
You
be?
don't have to, no, don't go looking for it.
Yeah,
Because you're already right there in the emotion. And usually I'm trying to uncollapse the story from the emotion, and you're right here with the emotion.
yeah, it's,
Is it just
I,
fear, or is there?
it's just the story of this coronavirus,
Mhm.
and that layer on top of the story of um, the confusion and uncertainty of, making the right choices for my health.
Yeah.
So
So
there's,
that's running as a baseline. And then now we've added the fear of everybody around you, and it's kind of contagious and worrying about the virus as well.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Even though I honestly feel that I would survive the virus if I caught it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not that afraid of it, but I don't want to catch it because I don't want to spread it, and I don't want to, the whole scene. It's really chaotic right now.
It's almost as if, Cathy, you have this fear in your body, and the coronavirus is giving you something to attach the fear to right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So let's breathe into that fear again. Just put your hand wherever it feels good to where you're experiencing it. When I experience fear, I usually have it in my heart chakra and my solar plexus. And what do you notice as you breathe into it?
My chest loosens.
Hmm.
I do feel a little lighter and more present.
Mm-hmm. Is there another?
It's like, I'm okay. I'm safe right now. I'm okay right now. Things are fine.
Mm-hmm. You're really good at comforting yourself.
Hmm. Yeah. I also, I, I am, I have been getting better at that. Yes. Thanks to help my allies.
Beautiful. So where would you say your fear is right now? If it was at a 10 before, where is it now?
Mm. I'd say it's about half that.
Mm-hmm.
Just breathing into it and feeling it and acknowledging it and realizing that right now I'm okay. I'm
Mm-hmm.
fine. My family's fine. People
Mm-hmm.
I know are fine.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Yeah. Hmm.
So is there anything else you want to bring forward in terms of the coaching?
Um,
We have about half our time still left.
I would I would say, well, I'm not sure, I mean, where to go with this. I know we've got the survivor journey roadmap, and I read through the descriptions, and I'm solidly in the allies part.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've been really struggling to get to the breakthrough. Um,
Like
I'm
on your way up to breakthrough?
yeah, and I'm feeling some resistance, and noticing, in working with Nina, that I've got, this really strong negative ego that's been, I'm starting to see it
Mm-hmm.
more. So the thing that I'm struggling with is finding the dream goals. So I get stuck where I'm, I was to a place where I couldn't see beyond, you know, a year. I couldn't see beyond. It was just all black.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been trying to come up with dream goals, and and I've been doing that, and I do feel there's this hope, and that I can think of things beyond just being well. Um, but
Oh,
I come up with some ideas, and then there's that negative ego comes in, and it's like I can't do it.
right. So it sounds like you're trying so you're trying to come up with goals because you're trying to be in this goal setting process.
Hmm.
Can't see beyond it. And what I want to take you back to is you said you were in allies, right?
Yes, yes.
Tell me about being in allies.
So with allies, it's um, letting go of what doesn't work for you anymore, and
Well, that's when you're in the pit. So when you're in the,
yeah,
get out of the pit, you let go of something that no longer serves you. And
right.
do you know what that is or was?
Well, I think a lot of it is my self-doubt, the feeling that um, I had like this sense for a while where, in order to get the self-care, give myself permission for self-care,
Mm-hmm.
I needed to be ill.
Oh, yeah.
And so through my cancer, I was able to spend whatever I needed to on massage, alternative ways to support my health. Um, and, and there was like a symbiotic relationship there. And so I've had to let go of that mindset that, oh yeah, I don't need to be sick to do self-care. That being well, doing self-care supports me being well.
Right.
And
So
yeah,
what you let go of in the pit was needing to be sick in order to have self-care.
right, right.
And where are you right now with it?
Um, I've, well, I say to myself, thank you, cancer. You've shown me what real self-care is. Now I don't need you anymore. So I do what I need to do to be healthy now, and what makes me feel good.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Cathy, how much permission do you have to fully give yourself self-care?
I would say 8.
8.
Hmm.
And what would make it a 10? What's the difference between the 8 and the 10?
I think that the difference is between the 8 and the 10. It would be there's a little resistance that I'm feeling,
Yeah.
and I'm not quite sure I could put that to words, but
Uh-huh.
there's like some resistance.
Right. Like I'm just getting this impression of you want to like run and dive in the pool, but you're standing at the edge with your towel on.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. It's almost like I'm in the pool, but there's someone on edge saying, get out of there.
Oh,
And I'm saying, uh-uh.
right. Good for you.
So there's that.
You mentioned your negative ego earlier. Are
Mhm.
they, is that in the mix there? Is that who's telling you to get out of the pool?
Well, I think, and I also wonder too if it's not practical, because there's also this thing about money where it's like, okay, if I could do anything I wanted to, or I need to be concerned about the choices that I make, because I don't think I can do everything. I can't afford everything that maybe I would want to do. So
Right.
I have to make choices.
Mhm.
Um,
I want
and
to
so,
make a distinction between, because it sounds between giving yourself permission to care for yourself and then being practical. Like it
yeah.
sounds like it's not like you have to do everything and you have gazillions of dollars that you could do. It's really about the permission that we're talking about here.
Yes,
And
yeah.
right when you said I wonder if it isn't practicality or pragmatism,
Mm-hmm.
called it, that sounded like your negative ego. Because your negative ego wants you to come. That's why you can't dream your goals too,
Uh-huh.
because your negative ego will always be under the auspices of you have to be realistic,
Yes. Yeah.
and then it clamps you down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you recognize that it's your ego, it sounded like your energy shifted. What's happening now?
Um, well, it's kind of confusing. Um, so I'm just not sure
So
where to go with it.
you being
So,
you being confused tells me that
mhm,
you're still in the grips of your ego right now.
yeah.
Yeah. so so we're done. Our time is up. So how I want you to continue with this, Cathy, is to write out the everything your ego is saying to you. Do you journal?
Well, I don't, but I mean, I can do this,
Yeah.
definitely.
It doesn't have to be a journaling exercise. It can just be on paper somewhere. But
Hmm.
to just let it, either you could say it out loud to somebody, but it's really something happens when you actually put a pen to paper and write it down.
Okay.
So just don't edit it. Don't try to make it nice. Don't dialogue with it. Just let it say, well, here's why, and where, and you're so stupid, whatever it's saying. Okay.
Okay.
Next time when we talk, you can tell me where you're at with it. Because
Okay.
once you realize what your ego is saying, then you can look at it and say, okay, is any of this true? That would be your next step.
Right.
And then
Okay.
see what happens.
Hmm.
So what are you taking away from today, my dear?
Well, I feel lighter, so I'm
Great.
taking that away.
Great.
And I am going to write down, I'm just going to start writing whenever I notice my negative ego coming up. I'll just let it say what it wants to say on paper and
That
then go
is
back to it.
beautiful. That is so powerful for you to keep making the separation of who's of you when you're dreaming and talking and desiring and being Cathy versus this sort of air conditioner that comes and squelches it. So just for you to make that distinction is very powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
So what's one word of where you are right now in this moment?
I would say I'm feeling brave.
Brave. Brave. Great. Yay.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy.
No, thank you.
We're going to mute you and return you to, okay. Where are you, Kathy?
I see she's muted and she's
There. Okay. So what we saw, Kara, we can dialogue about this just so that our audience can see what was taking place. But first, we started off with this big elephant, the virus and all of that, and the fear that she was having, and we got to get in touch with that, which distilled it, kind of brought us down to what's here right now for you into this place. Carrie did a fabulous job of really getting her in touch with what she was feeling to slow it down. And we need that sometimes when we're in kind of this panic. Sometimes I even qualify it or describe it as hysteria. It's like, let's just get quiet and really feel what we're feeling, because when we do, we get to move through it instead of pushing it away or running from it. And then, Carrie, you took her to what's here? What else is right here? And it came to the place of, I can't dream. I'm feeling stuck. And it was so wonderful to see you bring up her negative ego. With that, Cathy is schooled. Cathy's been coached before, of course, by one of our wonderful cancer journey coaches, certified cancer journey coaches. And so she knows some of the tools, and yet we don't always see our negative ego, because it has this voice of, let's just be practical, let's be realistic. And so we know it to be, oh, well, that's the practical side of me. But when it stops us and stops us from feeling and stops us from moving forward, then we know we're in the grips of it when it comes from our head.
it knows it can gain entry by saying, let's be realistic.
Right.
Because everybody wants to be realistic, right? But oftentimes it doesn't serve us.
Right.
It sure doesn't help us dream, that's for sure.
Right. And dreaming is part of the innocent part of us that allows us to have a bigger vision, to see things in the future that we want. We get to desire as human beings. And Cathy was in the clutches of her negative ego that wasn't allowing her to dream. So
I'm excited to see what happens when she separates herself from her ego and what both bursts forth.
Right. And I could really feel Cathy feeling a little more powerful, that even though she's journaling is not her thing, she's willing to take it on, to get acquainted with her negative ego, to really hear the voice of her negative ego when it shows up. And that really is, noticing is the first step always of any kind of change or transformation. So I'm excited for Cathy. And you could tell at the end of the call, at the end of the mini coaching session, she felt a little more powerful.
Well, she felt brave, she said.
Felt
That's
brave.
powerful to me.
Yeah. So is there anything else you want to say about that, Carrie?
No.
Okay. Well, let me just end this then with, I hope you all, wonderful audience of ours, for our very first Cancer Journey show, had an enlightened experience of Cancer Journey coaching. And if you want to know more about who we are, what we do, how we do what we do, please feel free to reach out to us. You can reach me, Sherry Ann, SHARIANN, at The Cancer Journey, or you can just simply email us at info, at thecancerjourney.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see you again. We'll be here next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, and we hope that we helped answer the question, what is Cancer Journey coaching? At least giving you a little snippet, because we're going to continue this journey with Cathy, and next time we will have her so you can actually see her face to face.
Yeah.
just remember you are more powerful than you think you are, than you realize. Blessings. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.